We all remember those glory days in 2015 and 16 when Donald Trump would be at the podium and the people in the stands would be chanting, "Lock her up, lock her up," and everyone cheered. Of course, Donald Trump never locked her up. He never went after Hillary Clinton, even though she destroyed public records. Long story short, her email servers got wiped. They smashed phones with hammers. Yeah, not a good look. But Donald Trump is now facing the threat of going to prison, so saith the left. In my personal opinion, Donald Trump will not be going to prison. But you know what? I think it's fair to point out Donald Trump ain't in that club. Okay. The Democrats seem to get away with a lot of stuff. Roger Stone, for instance, has a bunch of federal agents storm his house in the wee hours of the morning with CNN waiting to film it all. Donald Trump's not in the club. And as much as I want to say Trump probably will not go to prison, Joe Biden has even said he's not going to go after Trump. He's going to seek unity. Leftists are fervent and zealous, and they live by double standards. These people do not operate in good faith. They claim Trump supporters don't, but the reality is too often Trump supporters try to play fair, and the Democrats and the left do not. And then what ends up happening is, well, the Republicans end up losing out. The other thing, too, is Republicans are often so desperate to beg the media for forgiveness or to look cool. It's like, dude, grow up. Who cares if they don't like you? I don't care if they don't like me. I talk about what I want to talk about. They love putting out clips of me out of context and acting like I'm some far right dude. When most of the time I talk about policy, it's leftist stuff. I'm aside from guns, but that's still kind of leftist because leftists are pro 2A now too. It's the liberal resistance types that aren't. But I'll talk about, I had someone tweet at me that I think social democrats are bad. I'm like, no, I don't. When have I said that? I was like, I'm all about that mixed economy. I say it all the time. But they love accusing me of being right wing because I point out they's nuts. Here's the point. While I don't think Donald Trump will go to prison, and it's wishful thinking on these leftists, we're going to lock him up, lock up Trump. The political world doesn't really function that way. I'm sorry. It's way more boring, you know. But considering how zealous and fervent they are, it might not be Joe Biden that does it. Sure, Joe Biden might be like, we're not going to go after him because, look, that's the name of the game. But in New York, they might. They might try and just get retribution against Trump because he ain't in the club and he stepped on their toes. So some Trump supporters are now saying Donald Trump will not give up. He will fight and try and win by any means necessary because he knows that the lunatic, leftist, zealous, dogma crazies, they will destroy him. They'll try to destroy his businesses. They will jam him up with lawsuits and the IRS is going to come after him. And you've got federal prosecutors in the Southern District of New York coming after him. So he's thinking, you know what? I better win, and I better win hard. You better do everything in my power to win. Here's what they say at NBC. What Trump faces on January 20th, 2021. As soon as he becomes a private citizen, Trump will be stripped of the legal armor that has protected him from pending cases, both civil and criminal. They say it looks increasingly certain that on January 20th, around noon, Joe Biden will take the oath of office. It looks increasingly certain? Wait. NBC News. Wasn't it y'all who said that Joe Biden's already won? He's been declared the winner and he's president-elect? What's this all about? Anyway. Trump has faced investigations involving his campaign, his business, and his personal behavior since he took the oath of office himself 4 years ago. As soon as he becomes a private citizen, however, he'll be stripped of the legal armor that has protected him from a host of pending court cases. He will no longer be able to argue in court that his position as the nation's chief executive makes him immune to prosecution or protects him from turning over documents and other evidence. He will also lose the help of the Department of Justice in making those arguments. Well, what the left has said is that he'll issue himself an unconditional pardon across the board. But that's only for federal crimes. At the state level, New York seems to be desperate to go after him. They say, well, it's possible he could go to jail as a result of some of the probes of his business affairs. The soon-to-be former president is more likely to face financial punishment in the form of civil fines, law enforcement observers believe. He may also be embarrassed by financial and other secrets that will be exposed in court. Nearly all his legal troubles are in his hometown of New York, where he once basked in the tabloid limelight as a young mogul and where he rode a golden escalator into an unlikely political career. Here are some of the most perilous cases. They say the Manhattan District Attorney's case. Former Trump lawyer Michael Cohen pleaded guilty in 2018 to campaign finance violations for paying Stormy Daniels to keep silent about her affair with Trump, alleged affair. The indictment alleged Cohen paid Daniels $130,000 prior to the 2016 election for the benefit of individual one, an unindicted co-conspirator described as an ultimately successful candidate for president. But federal prosecutors in the Southern District of New York didn't seek charges against Trump, who would have been immune from prosecution regardless while president. They say 2 prosecutors in New York seem to have picked up where federal prosecutors left off in examining Trump finances. And that's one of the important points. While it may be that at the federal level, they back away and they don't want to go after Trump because tit for tat, they don't want someone coming in and going after them. New York doesn't care. They're going to go nuts. These people got Trump derangement syndrome. Not only do they hate Trump, but they're going to want retribution. How dare you enter our club? We own this country. I'm kidding, by the way. I don't really think that's what they're saying, but they're saying something like that. Donald Trump, you weren't supposed to win. And when you did, you didn't play ball. So he's coming for you. They say, while the campaign finance violation of individual one is not a federal case, New York state laws say that falsifying business records in furtherance of an illegal act is a felony. Cohen has also alleged that Trump effectively used 2 sets of numbers in his business, one with higher values to secure loans and a second with lower values to minimize taxes, according to his congressional testimony and published interviews. Now, this is talking about, there was this big story where they were like, Trump claimed there was a certain amount of available space in one filing and then not another filing. And that was actually explained by not even Trump supporting accountants, where they were like, if Trump is issuing a tax filing on available space for his business, he doesn't include like utility rooms. And if he's including space when it comes to the actual property and what can be used, he uses the full space. So the numbers were different. They are really going after the guy. I got to tell you, man, Trump probably just has his accountant sign off on it. He's going to be like, ask the accountant, I don't know, and then pay the fine. That's really what's going to happen. Unless there's something with the Stormy Daniels thing. The New York AG's case, they say the Office of the New York Attorney General, Letitia James, meanwhile, is investigating 4 different Trump Organization real estate projects and the failed attempt to purchase the NFL's Buffalo Bills. In March 2019, the office subpoenaed records from Deutsche Bank and Investors Bank. The fraud probe was reportedly prompted by Cohen's testimony. The Attorney General's investigation is civil, not criminal, but the office would be allowed to refer any allegedly criminal elements to the local prosecutor like Vance. I tell you what, I think Cohen's dirty, and I think Trump played fast and loose. He's a rich guy. He had Cohen. Cohen was his guy. You know, he's like, I got a problem, take care of it. They're going to come after Trump not because of what Trump did. They're going to go after him, in my opinion, because the political establishment is a crony corporate club. Donald Trump kicked the door into their club like a bull in a china shop, and he stomped around, and the people outside were laughing at the elites who were embarrassed by all of this, and they're going to want revenge, retribution against Trump. Well, I normally would say, and I'll say it now, like I really do think, actually, let me stop. Let me put it this way. The likelihood that Hillary Clinton was going to get locked up was 0 the entire time, and everybody knew it. Trump's not going to put Hillary Clinton in jail. Calm down. And they were screaming, he's going to put him in jail. But the percentage that Donald Trump gets charged or indicted after he leaves office is actually well above 0, well above 1. So I mean, probably like percentage wise, I'm not saying it's 50% or 70. It might be 2. But there is a real probability these people are nuts and they go after him. They go on to say that there's a bunch of women who have accused Trump of inappropriate behavior and alleged incidents that date back to the 70s. I really don't believe this. I love this one. Advice columnist E.G. Carroll alleged in a 2019 book that more than 20 years earlier, Trump raped her in a department store dressing room. Trump denied the allegation, saying she was not his type, and that the claim was meant to spur publicity for her book. That's probably true because Trump is going after all these young models. He's a billionaire. He's not going after 50-year-old advice columnists, or how I think she was 50. She's very old now. I'm not interested in the women claims against Trump. And if that's the last thing they got, they say this. Could Trump pardon himself? Legal experts said the president could pardon himself before leaving office, but it's unlikely such an action would survive a challenge in court. More importantly, it only works at the federal level. Even if he did issue a pardon for himself for any future crimes or, whatever, it's only at the federal level, and it wouldn't make sense. Maybe active investigations, he could commute or something like, or he would have to pardon, I guess. I don't know. People don't understand how pardons work. They're saying Trump should pardon Kyle Rittenhouse. It's like, dude, he was charged at the state level, not by the feds. Trump can't pardon at the state level. These people really don't understand how this country works. That's why they want to get rid of the Electoral College. They have no idea. If they actually knew and took a civics class, maybe they'd be like, wow, this actually is a really good system. Many people have pointed out that the Electoral College strengthens your individual vote. You should like it. The problem is that many people just want to cram into tiny concrete boxes stacked on top of each other in big urban districts that smell like sour milk. If you actually wanted to move out and build something and make the country better, you would be empowered to do so. There is so much incentive for people to get out there into the world, and they don't take it. Property is cheap in the middle of nowhere. It is. So go build. And then guess what? Move to Wyoming. I guess your vote's going to be worth more. To a certain degree, I suppose. I guess the liberals don't want to go live in Wyoming because Wyoming's like the most Republican place in the country, and so is West Virginia. I wonder why that is. Maybe it's because the people who live out there know what it means to do hard work and know the advantages they get by actually helping build and develop more land in this nation. At the very least, maybe they're just surrounded by a big echo chamber of liberals and they don't really know what they're talking about because they're low information voters. Anyway, long story short, look, I think the leftists are nuts. I don't think Trump's going to go to jail. I really don't. This is just red meat. But it's way more likely than it was Hillary would ever have gone to jail. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up tomorrow at 10 a.m. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all next time.